Welcome to another wonderful episode of On the Trail. I'm your host, Steve Evans. Right now I am down in Orlando in the Withlacoochee State Forest, where they have the citrus hiking loops. There's 3 loops, A, B, and C. My plan over the next 2 days is to do the entire outer circle, which I think is around 38 miles, so it'll be a heavy mileage run for me. New distances actually. If I don't make it, there's a couple of roads and side trails that I can make it back to the car. Another challenge that I have on this hike is that it's a dry hike. There's a couple, looks like on the map, a few water sources, but nothing that I'm overly confident in. So I've got a couple bailout areas that I've got planned, and if I don't find water and I feel like I'm going to die, then I'll bail out. So let's get started. So I parked at the Holder Mine campground and leave the car there overnight. It's about a 1 mile hike to get to the actual beginning of Loop A, where I just did my first portion of the video. From there we're heading south. We're going to go all the way around down to the south end and see how far back up we can get as we round it. The trail seems to be well worn and relatively wide without too much up and downs so far. Now with that said, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the 37 miles. One thing also to take note of is that I guess down here in the United States it's okay to hunt in some of the national forests and whatnot. Up in Canada it's a little bit different. So it is hunting season, and from the best of my knowledge, they can't hunt on this particular weekend. Why they can't, I'm not sure, but they can definitely hunt yesterday and on Monday. So, you know, if they find me with a 6-inch hole blown through my chest from a double-barrel shotgun, it's probably because I decided to wear my classic all-brown outfit, which basically makes me look like a moose or a deer or whatever the heck they have down here. Probably only about an hour in, but here's an example of some of the roads that cut through this trail. Now, I did see one rather large kind of monster truck on ripping around, but other than that, not too much. And then back to the footpath. So I guess when it's wet, that could be an option for some water. Not today. I don't need any yet. I've got one planned down here. But I wanted to get just the trail a little bit here. You can see that it's a little bit different than what I would see up in Ontario. Definitely got some different type of foliage, a little bit more dense. But it looks fun. It almost looks a little bit like a jungle. Let's hope the Florida panther doesn't visit. Well guys, I wanted to touch base with you about some of the water sources along this trail, because when I was reading up on it, basically said there wasn't any. Behind me you can see there's a, let's call it a cistern maybe. I'm going to guess that this is for the horses that go through here, but I'm sure if you purify it, it'll be just fine. And this is about, I think we're about halfway down on the east side of the C loop. So if you're looking at your map on the right hand side, we're traveling south, and then as we continue down, we'll get to the junction between C and D. Yeah, so there's some water if you need it. Just make sure you treat that. Just heard something pretty big run through the woods here. Oh, it's probably not going to be able to see it, whatever it was, but it was big. So we're coming up to about 11:30 anyway, and we're done about 10 miles in 4.5 hours, which is actually pretty good. So I should be able to hammer out this loop in 2 days. I'm just gonna have some really sore legs. Down to my last about half liter of water or so, but I brought a couple of 2-liter Nalgene's, flexible Nalgene's, and there's a pond coming up here right by the south end campsite. So I should get there in about, hopefully under 2 hours from here. I'm going to fill up with about 5 liters of water. That'll take me through to my camp afterwards. Be enough to cook for dinner, and enough for tomorrow morning before I get to another water supply. Woo! So you can see that this hike has some weird stuff, and that you cross a pretty busy road. 55-mile-an-hour limit. There's some cars coming. So definitely easy access, but you don't get the solitude that you get anywhere else really, or at a different place. So this is the southernmost campsite, and the sign there says Taylor Campsite. I'm just going to rest here for about a half hour or so, grab some lunch and whatnot. I've been hiking for exactly 6 hours now. My legs are a little bit pooched, and I've done about 14 miles, so 22.5 kilometers. Not bad. I got a lot of time left. It's 1 o'clock, so I can definitely pump out another, you know, maybe 7 miles or something like that. That would be good if I could do that. That would make tomorrow nice and short. The other issue that I'm having is that I did not stop for water yet, and I'm down to my last kind of, you know, couple sips. So I may have to head back into the recreation area, the Tillis Hill recreation area, to get some of that water. The lake that I just passed was not suitable, and neither was any of the sewage that I saw. So we'll see how that goes. Well, you know, I've been wearing these pants for many years, and they are beaten to hell, and it's time to turn them into shorts. That's how I roll. Ladies and gentlemen, my new shorts. Fantastic. Oh, water. Looks like I won't have to go to the campground. I'm gonna load up right here. Looks a little milky, to be honest, but it cannot be any worse than the poo water that I saw down on the south end of the trail. So let's get the bottles out and load up. Oh man, that's yummy. You know, we are on the trail. We've just crested the south end. We're heading north. It's probably 1:30, 1:45 or something like that. I didn't stop for too long at the campsite actually after I cut my pants into shorts because I started panicking about the water. Now that I've got some, we can slow the pace down a bit and see if we can't save my legs a little bit. They are sore. Oh God, are they ever. I had a snake give me a scare on the trail a little while back. Now I've got this little guy. Hey buddy, what are you? Okay guys, I just got to the intersection of the C loop and the D loop, heading up north on the west side of the park, or the trail. My right knee is problematic right now. It's definitely doing something a little bit funky. I must easily be in the 30K range, but I'm not even going to try and work it out because I'm so tired. I got 2.5 miles, 5K or so to my campsite. Straight down here. I'm going to try and make it in the next 2 hours. Let's go. Okay guys, just set up my tent, and fortunately I got to my site and there's a Cub Scout crew here. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but there's definitely a lot of them. But they're nice enough to share the site with me, so I have no problem with that. Today was a long day. I did 37 kilometers. My legs are absolutely toasted, and it took me until 5 o'clock to get to the campsite. So I left at about 8. I mean, I probably only stopped for 15 or 20 minutes, so let's just say we did a full 9 hours of hiking. Just give you guys an idea of the campsite that I've got. It's coming up to about 6. I might eat in about half an hour. Got my tent set up right here. It's my log to sit on here. And then I got some backpacking guys over there. Actually pretty nice guys. They said hi, let me stay here, so I'm pretty happy. Anyway, time to sit down and do nothing. Ooh. Boiling my water. Today's meal, chicken teriyaki with rice. Oh. So it's about 7:30. I'm pretty bored. Haven't been doing much, just sitting here. I don't have a fire going because I didn't get the fire pit site. And you know, a lot of people ask me, they say, what do you do when you get to camp? And the reality is that you don't do a whole lot, especially when you're hiking by yourself. I basically set up camp, hang my bear bag, make some food, poke a stick in the fire. I sit, I do a lot of sitting, do a lot of thinking. Sitting and thinking is big on the list of things to do. And then I usually go to bed pretty early. I'll probably be in bed tonight at 9 o'clock. And hopefully I don't freeze because, you know, weird enough, I'm in Orlando, Florida, and it's not even warm. It's actually pretty cold right now. I had to put my long johns on. And I'm hoping that it doesn't get much colder because I'm going to freeze. That's it. So, clearly my neighbors are up. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I slept for a long time. I was very tired, so it was a good sleep. I'm gonna pack up and get the hell out of here. My legs are pretty sore, so we'll see how it goes for the first hour or so, and decide whether or not we're gonna do the rest of the entire loop, or if I'm gonna take one of the shortcuts. Definitely have a water situation as well. Last night I was pretty thirsty and I probably got about a liter left, and on the map I don't really see anywhere where there would be another option for water, so let's pack up and see what happens. Well guys, it's about 8 a.m. right now. I just got on the trail. Right knee's still a little bit funky, but I think I can work it out. You can see the sun's just coming up there. And I gotta mention again, I did not anticipate the cold temperatures. I don't think it was very cold, but I definitely didn't bring gear with the understanding that it was going to be, 10 degrees Celsius or so. I thought this was going to be kind of a really hot weather trip, so my problem for not doing the proper research. So, came out from over there, and there are a number of options available. My map only shows one trail, and I think I'm going to pick the one on the left here. You can see day 2 is similar to day 1. It's basically a flat path through the woods. One thing that I guess would make this trail a little bit more interesting is some key points that you could see. There was a little sinkhole back there yesterday, but there isn't a whole lot of, let's say, visual attractions other than the solidarity, I guess, of being in the woods, which I'm not complaining about. Okay, well, I'm right now at the intersection between the B and C loop, and I'm going to take the shortcut across back to C loop. I think that my right knee feels good, but I'm a bit nervous to add on all the additional mileage. That, and I have about less than a liter of water, and I think that's going to be a problem in the long run. So, that's it, guys. Don't get me wrong, still got like 10 miles to go, but we're heading down there. So we're back on some familiar terrain now that we're headed up the east side, headed north on the east side of B Loop, let's call it. So we'll be connecting to A Loop in about a mile. So I hiked this southbound yesterday, and I remember it's actually a neat little portion of the trail because the foliage and trees and whatnot is very different than the rest. I'm telling you, it looks like a jungle setting. So we're at the final junction now between the B, A, and Holder Mine trailheads. I've only got about a mile to go back to the car. So the shortcut I took was a real shortcut. I don't know if the mileage is wrong on the map or whatnot, but I feel like I've only been hiking for about an hour. Anyway, it's no big deal. I've just stopped here to rest, gonna eat some haribo. If you've never had these, I highly recommend you try them. You know, people ask me, like, Steve, how do you pull off those long distances? What type of physical shape do you have to be in? And I always say it doesn't matter, as long as you've got some haribos. The chewiest golden gummy bears. Actually, two nights ago, I went out for dinner in an old age home, which is a whole other story in itself. This place has limited dining options, let's say. And they don't have these in Canada, so I bought a bunch at the gas station, I think 5 packs. When the guy beside me was like, what the hell are you buying all this for? By the time I finished explaining to him why I bought so many, I'm pretty sure he thought I was a complete idiot. But everyone's welcome to their own opinion. So we're coming up to the end of the trail. I actually just bumped into a guy right there who asked me where I'd been and whatnot, so I was explaining to him. He told me he got down to 40 Fahrenheit yesterday, which is the reason why I was probably a little bit chilly at night. Was not anticipating that, and he said I guess they weren't either. But as we round this corner here, we'll mark the end of the trail. And there's my car rental. Very nice. Well guys, I made it home today. I'm sitting on the couch, I'm letting my legs heal. Day 1 was 37 kilometers, much too far for me, and I have injured my knee. So I'm going to need a couple days to rest. My leg muscles basically seized in the night, and I'm having some difficulty walking today. So I wanted to mention a couple things. First, on day 2, Sunday morning, I did take the shortcut back to the car. So it was only about 10.5 kilometers, took me 2.5 hours. It was a pretty simple stroll through the woods. I wasn't making any great time or anything like that. I'm going to have my gear list up on the website soon, and if you look at that, just keep in mind that on Saturday night, it got to about 40 Fahrenheit, maybe like 5 degrees Celsius, 7 degrees Celsius, and I was definitely cold. So if you're going to plan to hike the Citrus hiking trail at the same time as me, or something the same, same temperature, keep in mind that I didn't bring enough supplemental clothing to have a very warm night. I had to really snuggle up in the bag. I'm going to have the trip report up, and then I'll have the map along with my distances and where my campsite was, all for you to look at. I'll tell you something kind of funny though, is because I had such a short day on Sunday, I made it to the airport about 6 or 7 hours early for my flight, and ended up falling asleep in the chairs by the gate, and I slept right through boarding, and the plane left without me. And when I woke up, it was around midnight. The airport was completely empty. It was like a ghost town. So I had to spend the night in Orlando at the airport and take the 7 o'clock this morning. If you look at the video and you want to hike the trail, you guys know how it works now. You just send me an email. You want some information, I'll give you as much as I can. It's a beautiful trail. I would definitely recommend it for beginners. It's a really easy access. You can cache water all through the loop. One thing also is that it's a little bit of a busy trail because of all the roads that coincide with the trail. You're crossing roads a couple times. There's some trucks and whatnot that go around. And heads up if it's hunting season, because you should wear some brightly colored clothing. I'm Steve Evans, and I'll see you on the trail.